Enchanted Forest, where no one dares to go. There lives a magic lady of mystery. There in her wondrous cottage, with all her wildlife friends, she spends each day and evening a-weaving fairy tales of a land of peace and fantasy. The stories handed down from age to age, though the world around changes every day, somehow fairy tales remain the same.
Hello, boys and girls. My name is Danny. I'm your Century Video Space Captain. As your friend and navigator too, I will take you on trips to wondrous places where you will meet exciting and awesome people. I guarantee we'll always have fun, but you will never see me. I can only be heard. So sit back, relax, as we blast off.
Hello. This is the first chance I've had to sit down all day. And let me tell you, my dears, it was quite a day. Even though I'm retired, my godchildren managed to get into just enough mischief to keep me running. You'd think they'd let me slow down and enjoy my retirement, wouldn't you? But no. Today is a perfect example. First thing this morning, I had to rush over to Pinocchio's house. He had gotten his nose caught in the wringer of his washing machine. Well, it was quite a strain on the dear boy. There he was, caught sticking his nose into something he shouldn't have, and nobody to get him loose. Well, there was nothing for him to do but keep lying to make his nose grow, and that's just what he did. He kept telling lies and backing up until his nose grew long enough to let him get to the telephone and call for help. Well, by the time I got there and got him untangled, most of the morning was gone. And then it was off to the old woman who lived in a shoe for bridge. And my dears, it was so hectic. She really has to do something about those children. I mean, there are so darn many of them, and all crowded together in a shoe. Honestly, kids from heel to toe. I don't know how many times I've tried to get her a pair of shoes, or at least a boot. Maybe a boot with a little ballet slipper out back. But no, there they stay year after year, and they haven't so much as had their place resoled. And it needs polishing, and the laces haven't been tied since last winter. Whew, I'm glad to get home just in time for your visit. You see, I had to hurry back for Roscoe's piano lesson. You didn't know that mice played the piano, did you? Well, neither did I until I heard Roscoe play, and even then I'm not sure. You see, Roscoe finds it very difficult, poor fellow, so I try to give him a lot of support. In fact, I suppose I really should go and find him. He's supposed to be practicing right now. But first, I think I'll just take a little nap. We fairy godmothers need a rest, too, you know.
I'll never get it right. Never, never, never. I'll never be a great pianist like Liberace or Elton John. Never, 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 never.
Roscoe, what's all this? I thought you were practicing your piano lesson.
I'm finished with the piano. I'm never going to play again. If mice was meant to play the piano, we would have been born with tuxedos on.
Now, Roscoe.
And candelabras in our bassinets.
Roscoe, you're just feeling sorry for yourself.
Oh, yeah. Well, who's got a better right? That's what I want to know. No, I practiced the piano ever since I was a little mouseling.
Mouseling?
That's right. That's what my mother used to call us, her little mouselings. Boy, that's when I got my first piano. It was made out of a piece of cheese.
Cheese?
That's right. And the piano keys, they was made out of little two teeny pimentos.
Roscoe, you mean that the first piano you ever played was made of cheese?
Played? Don't be silly. I didn't play it. I ate it. But I've been trying to play the piano for as long as I can remember, and I'm no better than I ever was. In fact, I think I'm probably worse.
Roscoe, how can you say that?
Did you just hear me play just now?
Yes.
Well, then you know what I'm talking about.
But you can't just give up like that.
Why not?
Well, I think that all you lack is confidence.
Confidence?
Yes, you approach the piano with negative feelings.
No. What are you talking about? I approach the piano just like I always do.
That's what I meant. You don't think you can play very well. In fact, you think you play lousy.
Yeah, well, that's just what I said.
Well, that's what defeats you. You don't think you can play well, and so you don't.
You can say that again.
You don't have to say it again. In fact, you don't even have to say it in the first place. What you should say is that you are a good pianist. You are a great pianist. You are a wonderful pianist. You are a
I am a rotten pianist.
I don't think you got the idea. If you had confidence in your playing, then you could play the piano until the cows come home.
Hello, everybody.
Well, the cows are home, and I'm giving up the piano.
Have I popped in at the wrong moment?
No, Benita, you've come at just the right time. Now, you heard Roscoe play the piano. What's your opinion of his musical talent?
Gee, I didn't know he had any.
You see?
Benita didn't mean it to sound that way.
No, of course not. What did I mean?
You meant that Roscoe's got great promise.
Yes, that's right. What's he promised?
That's it. I had enough. I'm giving up the piano. In fact, it's going to the junkyard.
Oh, don't do that.
Certainly not.
We can plant flowers in it or something.
Benita.
But we can't just let him throw away a perfectly good piano.
He's not going to throw anything away.
And why not?
Why? Why, yes. I'll tell you why, because I forgot about something. That's why.
Forgot about what?
I forgot about the magic gloves. And they were here all along. What's the matter with me? I should have told you about these ages ago. These gloves were once worn by the greatest concert pianist of all.
Who was that?
It was Ringo Patachecki, the greatest concert pianist of all time.
I never heard of him.
Oh, well, he became so famous that people didn't need to mention him anymore. That's how famous he was.
Gee.
Yes, and these were his magic gloves he wore that gave him such great skill at the piano.
These gloves?
These very gloves.
But Fairy Godmother.
Please, Benita, don't interrupt.
But Fairy Godmother, those gloves aren't.
Of course they aren't the right size, but we'll fix that.
Fairy Godmother.
Benita, I think you've said enough. Now, where was I? Oh, yes. These gloves have a very special magic. Whoever puts them on becomes a great pianist.
You mean like Ringo Patachecki?
Who? Yes, just like Ringo Patachecki. And I think since you want to play the piano as well as you can, you should wear them.
Gee!
Fairy Godmother.
You don't have to say anything, either of you. Just put them on.
Oh, boy. Now I'm a great pianist.
Try it for yourself.
You mean just...
Go ahead.
Just like a real concert pianist.
That was just beautiful.
It really was, Roscoe. Congratulations.
And I owe it all to these magic gloves.
Hi-ho, everybody. Oh, I say, has anybody seen my gardening gloves? I know I left them around here somewhere. Oh, Roscoe, they look just like your gloves, except they're much, much larger, of course.
That's what I was trying to tell you, Fairy Godmother. You made a mistake. Those are Bellamy's gloves.
You're right, Benita. They are Bellamy's, but I did not make a mistake.
You mean these aren't magic gloves?
I'm afraid not.
Then you tricked me.
I didn't trick you. You tricked yourself.
Huh?
You tricked yourself into thinking that you could not play the piano, but of course you could. You can do anything you set your mind to. if you have the confidence. And those gloves gave you the confidence.
Well, I guess they did.
Certainly. You played that beautiful piano solo all by yourself.
I did.
And now you can do it anytime you like.
I can? I mean, I can. Sure I can.
You know, Roscoe, I wasn't aware of the fact that mice could even play the piano.
What are you talking about? You never heard of my great-great-great-grandfather, Ludwig von Rodent? Ah, he lived in Beethoven's piano. He gave Beethoven some of his best tune ideas. Yeah, him and Beethoven was thick as thieves.
You know, mice aren't the only animals with special talents.
Of course not. We cows are very musical, too. In fact, music runs in my family. My father played the horns and my mother played the bell.
Well, I remember a story from my career that concerns itself with this very topic.
Musical cows?
Well, no, it's not about cows at all. It's about a horse.
A horse?
That's right, a horse with most unexpected talent. It's called the magic pony.
I don't hold with horses what do magic tricks.
Oh, that's not exactly what happens.
Well, what does happen?
If you listen, you'll find out. Once upon a time...
Not so long ago, deep in the Russian countryside, there lived a young boy by the name of Ivan.
I'll catch you this time.
It seems that night after night, someone or something had been sneaking into the wheat fields belonging to Ivan's family and trampling all of the new wheat. So on this star-filled night, Ivan had decided to hide and wait for the mysterious intruder to appear. Suddenly, appearing from out of the stars came a magnificent white stallion.
Take you into town and sell you to pay for the grain you ruined.
The stallion seemed to be hanging his head in shame and apologizing for all the trouble he had caused. Ivan was a very kind-hearted boy and soon decided to forgive him. The white stallion was very grateful, so he decided to give Ivan 3 horses to sell in the marketplace to pay for the grain he had destroyed. As soon as Ivan reached the town, the people began to gather round to stare at the 2 magnificent white horses he was leading. They were a perfectly matched pair and 2 of the best trained horses in the valley. But the strange-looking pony that Ivan was leading drew nothing but laughter and teasing from the crowd. And no wonder. It had ears like a jackrabbit and 2 humps on its back like a camel. They had never seen such a strange-looking animal. The strange little pony seemed to realize they were laughing at him.
I don't care if your ears are a little long and that your back is so bent that you look like a camel. You've got nothing to be ashamed of. I still like you.
Ivan was right. The pony should not have been ashamed of the way he looked because he had something no other pony could match, the gift of magic. Meanwhile, news of Ivan's magnificent white horses spread throughout the land, and he was soon summoned to appear before the ruler of all the land. The wicked ruler knew that he had to have those horses.
But you dare to ask money from your ruler? You know that all you own you owe to me.
But, Your Highness, I just...
That's enough! Guards, throw this peasant and his funny-looking mule out of here!
What? Ow!
Oh, my, what a terrible ruler. But at least Ivan still had his magic pony.
Ivan, it'll be all right.
Ivan! Ivan, please come back! Those horses have gone wild! You've got to stop them!
It's all right. Easy, boy. Easy.
And so the wicked ruler had no choice but to hire Ivan and his magic pony to look after his stables.
They are the handsomest horses in the land. If you like them, I shall gift them to you.
The cruel ruler had fallen in love with a very beautiful princess, and he was ready to buy her anything to win her love.
Princess, I'll give you anything you wish.
The princess told him that she must have a bird from the sun.
Did she say a sunbird?
That's right.
The ruler ordered Ivan and his pony to leave at once to find a sunbird for the princess. Ivan did not understand that the princess had chosen something she knew that the ruler could never find. And if he could not find it, she knew that she would not have to marry him. And so Ivan set out with a bag of corn on his shoulder to find a magic sunbird. It was getting dark when suddenly, there in the distance, there was a bright glow that could only mean one thing: a sunbird.
Hold on tight. We'd better hurry before it gets away.
With that, the magic pony soared into the air and came down behind a rock overlooking the lake where the sunbirds were feeding. The pony covered the corn with a magic potion and told Ivan to throw it down to the sunbirds.
We've got one!
But the sunbird that had eaten of the magical corn found that he could no longer fly. And he was an easy catch for Ivan.
Gotcha!
Just as you ordered.
The princess told him that she could not give her hand in marriage so easily. She made one last request.
But you can't mean it.
Your Highness, you are already an old man, and I have just turned 17. My final request is that you make yourself young again, the same age as Ivan. If you do that, I will marry you.
The wicked ruler turned to Ivan once more for help, and he was told that if he soaked himself in 3 vats of boiling milk, he could become young again.
Hey! This could be some sort of trick. It was his idea to let Ivan try it first. Guard, the stable boy.
Wait, the magic may not work for me. Your Highness, you can't mean it.
Don't do it!
Don't worry, leave it to me.
The magic pony dipped his tail into the boiling milk and swished it around twice.
Ivan, go ahead now. It's all right.
No one can survive a boiling cauldron like that. I guess I was pretty smart to make him go in first.
What's happening?
It was Ivan. He had been magically transformed into a tall and handsome young man.
Ivan!
When the ruler saw what had happened, he ran and jumped into the boiling milk.
Okay, guards. Oh, ouch. Oh, close the lid.
Several minutes passed, but still the Tsar did not appear. But then, from inside the pot, the ruler had been too greedy and stayed in the magic milk too long. He had turned into a little baby. Not long thereafter, the handsome Ivan and the princess were married.
What a wonderful story.
I'm glad you liked it.
It seems as though, in this case at least, the magic pony had the last laugh on those who laughed at him.
Yeah, but there's just one problem with that.
What's that?
Well, it was a horse laugh.
Oh, Roscoe.
You know, Fairy Godmother, at first I thought you tricked me with those gloves. But you were right. When I put my doubts aside, I did what I could do all along. I played the piano.
Of course you did, my dear. We all have music within us, and when we throw away our doubts and have confidence in ourselves, we find we can do things we thought we never had the talent for.
Does that go for cows, too?
Certainly it goes for cows. It goes for everybody. When we believe in ourselves, we can overcome things we thought were too difficult.
Well, then, if Roscoe can play the piano without his magic gloves...
Yes?
Maybe you could turn them back into my gardening gloves. Roscoe may not need them, but I do.
I sure hope you enjoyed that adventure story. I know I did. In just a few minutes, we'll again board the Century Video spaceship and blast off on another terrific journey.
Hello. Imagine some of you were surprised to see me dressed like this, huh? Well, I just got back from a workout with my baseball team. I've been the captain of the Fairy Godmother's team, the Pink Sox, ever since old King Cole invented the game centuries ago. You didn't know that either, huh? Well, it just goes to show you that the history books are not always right. I'm the pitcher, you know. Ooh, I got a wicked curve. You'll pardon my language. Last week, I pitched a shutout game against the Giants. We beat them 5-0. But the Giants aren't such a tough team. Next week, we play the Leprechauns. Oh, I'll never forget the last time we played them in the Fairy Tale World Series. It was the 9th inning of the final game. Score was tied 2-2. Mother Goose was batting for the Fairy Godmothers, and Rumpelstiltskin was pitching for the Leprechauns. Now, Rumpelstiltskin isn't a leprechaun. Actually, they got him in a trade from the dwarfs. So anyway, he pitches a fast slider about broomstick high, and Mother Goose takes a cut at it and hits a line drive past shortstop. Their left fielder made his arm grow 17 feet, and he caught it on one bounce. Oh, when Mother Goose saw this, she turned him into a saucer of milk and headed for second. Their center fielder turned himself into a herd of goats, covered the entire outfield, while our third base coach planted a magic bean, which grew into a huge beanstalk, and Mother Goose took third on one of its vines. Oh, well, Rumpelstiltskin flew into such a rage at this point that he enchanted all of his teammates into believing they were his old suits. And they went and hung in a closet in the locker room for the rest of the game. And Mother Goose came home standing up. Well, we won the game and the series, but Rumpelstiltskin was banned from baseball, kicked out of the game. When I last heard about him, he'd opened a clothing store. He was trying to sell off his former teammates as 3-piece winter suits. Yeah. Well, talking about suits, it reminds me of the time that Godfrey Hrartless came here for a new suit for the ball. Well, I warned him that old magic isn't that reliable. But he wouldn't listen to me. Oh, no. Oh, can that be?
Hello, Fairy Godmother.
Well, Godfrey Hrartless, what are you doing here? Is it time to collect the rent again?
Fairy Godmother, you sting me. Here I am, not as your landlord, but as a neighbor and friend, and you question my motives.
I'm sorry, Hrartless. I misjudged you.
No, I was just passing by on my way to the annual Villains, Henchmen, and Stooges Ball. It's our biggest bash of the year.
Really?
Oh, yes. Everybody who's anybody in the world of rascals, villains, and all-around bad eggs is there.
I think I've read about it in the society pages.
Ooh, in the society pages?
Or maybe it was the wanted pictures in the post office.
Watch what you say. I'll have you know that some of my best and closest friends adorn the walls of the post office.
That don't surprise me none.
Hello, Roscoe.
Hiya, Fairy Godmother. I heard Hrartless and thought he might be giving you some trouble, so I thought I'd stop by.
Not at all. Mr. Hrartless was just passing by.
Well, why didn't he?
What?
Pass by.
He stopped in for a visit.
Oh, well, I'll go check the silverware.
Roscoe, Mr. Hrartless is on his way to a ball.
No, you don't. You ain't turning me into no white horse, the pill, no pumpkin chariot, no more.
I had nothing like that in mind.
Listen, Fairy Godmother, it's getting late, and I have got to be off to the ball. Now, the reason I stopped by is
Aha, the plot thickens.
is that I don't really have anything spectacular to wear to the ball.
Godfrey, I think you look perfectly nice the way you are.
Well, that's true. I am an elegant and handsome fellow no matter how I dress. But everybody has seen this suit. For this evening, I wanted something to wear, something special, something that will impress everybody.
Oh, Godfrey, clothes don't make a difference. How you look isn't important. It's what you are that's important. If your friends respect you, it's because they see who you are inside. Not because they're impressed with what they see outside.
In that case, he hasn't got a chance.
Well, that's just it. Some of those villains just make me look like a mean little kid.
Oh.
Oh, I mean, compared to Blackbeard the pirate and the big bad wolf and the two-headed giant, I'm just small potatoes. I need an impressive set of clothes for that extra push.
Even so, I don't see how I can help you.
Don't you remember what you did for Cinderella? How you changed her ragged clothes into a beautiful gown?
Oh, I don't know. That Cinderella magic is pretty old. And I'm not sure how much is left.
Oh, I'm sure there's enough for just one more quick change of clothes.
Well, I suppose there is. But just this once, mind you. I'm not sure about this at all. And I don't want you changing your mind. I don't think there's enough left for that.
Okay, I promise.
Now, let's see. Just a minute here. Okay, we put the lid back because there's very little left. Okay, now, what did you have in mind?
Oh, I don't know, something magnificent? How about furs? They're always impressive looking. I want to be dressed in fur from head to toe.
All right. Abracadabra, kahabadashery.
Hey, that's nice. Fur everywhere. What does it mean?
No, not exactly.
Well, whatever it is, you've done a great job. Wait a minute. What's this? What is this? This is a gorilla suit. I can't go to that fancy party dressed up in a gorilla suit.
Why not? You can tell them it's a come-as-you-really-are party.
You did say you wanted to be dressed in fur from head to toe.
Yeah, but you made a monkey out of me.
I think Mother Nature beat it to it.
This is ridiculous. You've got to change it.
But I told you there wasn't enough magic.
Oh, but surely you've got enough magic for just one more change of clothes?
Well, I'll try. But, you know, this time you got to decide. There's hardly any left. What you want. You won't have another chance.
Well, all right. I want to wear something unique, something that no one else is wearing. And I don't want any more funny suits. I want something that really says me.
Okay. Abracadabra, kahabadashery.
Hey, look what you've done. I'm naked.
Well, you wanted something unique that nobody else could wear. What could be more unique than your own skin?
But I can't go to the ball like this.
I told you that the magic was old, but you wouldn't listen. You're very lucky you got a barrel. There's only certain special magic that lasts forever.
But it's too late to go back home and change.
Perhaps this is a fortunate accident.
Fortunate, my barrel? How could there be anything fortunate about having to go to the ball like this?
Well, perhaps you'll be better able to find out who your real friends are. I mean, the ones who would snub you just because of the way you're dressed couldn't really be very good friends,
Say, maybe you're right. Maybe sincerity is the gimmick I've been looking for. Then I'll see who my real friends are.
Very good, Godfrey.
And then I'll get the others somehow. Well, goodbye, Fairy Godmother, and thank you. You were right. This proved to be a very fortunate accident.
Fairy Godmother, was that Mr. Hrartless I just saw leaving here in a barrel?
Oh, I say, I didn't realize the old boy was in financial trouble. I have a little bit of money put aside for a rainy...
Are you kidding? That old skinflint's too tight to ever go broke. He was just going to some crazy party.
Well, it can't be much of a party if he's going dressed in a barrel.
He sees it as a way of finding out who his real friends are.
Yeah, well, he'll soon find out that a barrel's only real friends is a batch of pickles.
Well, I think that is a good lesson for all of us to remember, that appearances are never a good thing to judge people by. In fact, people who are too involved in keeping up appearances are very often deceived by them. By a startling coincidence, you know, I remember a story from my own career about someone who was taught a stern lesson on this very topic.
Oh, you know, Fairy Godmother, it amazes me how many startling coincidences remind you of one of your stories.
Yes, that is amazing, isn't it? Well, anyway, once upon a time...
Once upon a time, a young man by the name of Nasser lived in a small farming village with only his dog and a rooster to call his friend. Life in a farming village begins at the crack of dawn. But Nasser's hobby was sleeping, and neither the rooster nor his dog ever had much luck getting him up on time. But still, they had to try, because if Nasser didn't finish tending his grapes, they wouldn't have enough money to pay their taxes. It doesn't look like they'll ever get him up, does it? Oh, my goodness. Will you look at that? It's hard to tell which is the dog and which is the owner. Nasser's vineyard lay on the far side of the village. It was good land, and each year it produced many fine grapes.
Good morning.
Once he was awake, Nasser worked very hard pulling weeds, watering, and tying up the vines. Uh-oh, here comes Nasser's terrible landowner. Even though he was the richest man in the land, he was still very greedy. And all of the farmers were afraid of him. Well, what's this? That landowner hardly ever smiles, but just look at him today. Oh, I know. Today is his 50th birthday. That's why he's in such a good mood. Every day, the landowner would visit all of his fields to see how much food was being produced, so that he would know how much to charge the farmers in taxes. Anyone could tell that the farmers were not overjoyed at the prospect of attending the landlord's birthday party, but the landlord was not going to let anything interfere with his celebration.
Wake up this minute, or you won't get to come to the party.
Now. Just leave him be. I have an idea of how to teach him a lesson. Let's double his taxes. What do you say, huh?
That should do it.
It was a gala party with music and all kinds of delicious things to eat. The landlord had been preparing for it for a week. When the landlord saw Nasser at his formal party still wearing his work clothes, he grew very angry. And then the landlord began to whisper to his guests.
Just look at the nerve of that fellow wearing work clothes to my formal party. If I were you, I'd ignore him.
From the landlord, a whisper was as good as an order, and he moved off to warn the other guests that it would make the landlord very angry if he saw any of them talking to Nasser. It didn't take long for everyone at the party to get the message.
Well, quite a party, isn't it? Huh? Well, congratulations on your birthday, sire. Huh? Hi, good to see you.
Nasser was very confused. These people were his friends, but none of them would talk to him. And when it came time to sit down to dinner, all the guests had a seat, except Nasser.
Huh?
Finally, it dawned on him. Everyone was ignoring him because he wasn't dressed like the others. He was very disappointed.
Well, Nasser, old fellow, aren't leaving, are you?
The landlord thought he had the last laugh. He had made a fool out of Nasser, and that made him very happy. But when Nasser got home, he didn't seem to be upset at all. Instead, he began to shave and get cleaned up. I wonder what he's up to. Why, it was Nasser, and he was dressed in the finest silks. The landlord and his helper didn't know what to make of it.
What shall I do, sire?
Well, the landlord had no choice but to let Nasser back into the party.
Yes, Mr. Nasser. This way, please.
The guests were very confused, but when they saw Nasser sit down to eat, they were relieved.
Well, Jacket, this looks like a pretty good roast. Why don't you try it? Go ahead. See, what did I tell you? Not bad. Here, why don't you try some Swiss cheese?
Oh, my goodness, what in the world is Nasser doing?
I know it. That boy is crazy. He's alone. Just look at him. What kind of fool would feed all my delicious food to his clothes? He's really crazy.
Sire, I was positive that this great banquet was surely meant for my clothes. Why else would I have returned?
What?
Why, of course. When I was here before wearing just my work clothes, I was ignored and wasn't even offered a bite to eat. It was then that I realized that it wasn't me you'd invited, but my party clothes. And I must have been right, because when I wore them back here, we received a royal welcome. That's why I thought it only right to let my clothes enjoy this gala party. You'll have to excuse us now.
And before anyone could say a word, Nasser was gone.
Can you believe the nerve of that guy? Sire, are you going to stand for that? Sire.
Oh, that Nasser! He really put a good one over on me.
Everyone at the party had learned a great lesson. Never to judge someone by the clothes they wear. It's the person inside that counts. And from that day forward, everyone stopped teasing Nasser for being such a sleepyhead, because now they knew what a clever fellow he really was. And it is said that even the landlord learned his lesson, and he became a most generous and considerate friend to all the farmers.
You know, I think they should have set 2 places at that birthday banquet. One for Nasser and one for his clothes.
Well, I still think he was inappropriately dressed for the gala occasion.
Yeah? How's that?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but Was it not the landlord's birthday party?
That's right, Bellamy.
Well, then, manifestly, NASA should have gone in the only clothes appropriate for such an occasion.
What's that?
Why, his birthday suit, of course.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, Bellamy.
You know, someday, somewhere, somebody's gonna get you for that.
You know, Fairy Godmother, vanity is a really perplexing thing.
Yes, it is, Benita.
I mean, everybody wants to look their best.
Of course, we all do. But that's as far as it goes. It's just the way we look.
What do you mean?
Well, when you become too concerned about your appearance, you forget who you are, who that special someone is that lives within you. And the discovery of that inner self is truly a gift of beauty.
Wow, wasn't that great? Those characters and places were really interesting. Are you ready for another wonderful adventure? Okay, let's go.
Oh, hello, my dears. I was just writing my column for the local newspaper, the Unicorn Weekly. It's run by the three little pigs who just moved their office to a brick building after being on the receiving end of a tornado last week. I was writing a review of the celebrity talent show down at the castle last Saturday night. Maybe you'd like to hear it, Last Saturday night, the audience at the Castle Theater cheered the Fairy Tale Land Celebrity Talent Show. The first star on the all-star bill was Little Bo Peep and her musical sheep. She lined up her sheep on the front of the stage, and then as she tapped each of their tails in turn, each sheep gave out with a note, ba. Unfortunately, the only songs the sheep knew were Ba Ba Black Sheep and We Are Poor Little Lambs Who've Lost Our Way. Let's see. Oh, the next act was a singing trio sensation, the three-headed giant, Fee, Fi, and Fo. He used to be a quartet, but the baritone Thumb left the act. Next came the big bad wolf, who for the amusement of all huffed and puffed and blew down 3 palm trees and a hot dog stand. After that, Alice showed her slides from Wonderland. Not too thrilling. And we all sang and followed the bouncing ball until one of the trolls swallowed it. But the highlight of the evening was the appearance of the old woman who lived in the shoe and her youth choir. You see, she had so many children, she finally figured out what to do with them all. They sang several songs about what it's like to live in a shoe and how much they liked pastel laces and 7-inch high heels. Oh, when they finished, there wasn't a dry eye in the house. The final act was the 7 Dwarfs' world-famous acrobatic act. Oh, those cute little darlings. They scampered around, swinging from the bottoms of chairs, walking across mop handles, with daredevil crash helmets made out of little tiny cantaloupes. But the stunt that brought the house down was when they climbed on one another's shoulders and formed a gigantic pyramid stretching, almost 4.5 feet tall. Everything went fine until one of the dwarfs' noses itched, and he began to tickle it, and then they sneezed. Oh, I'm not saying who it was. I mean, I wouldn't want to damage his career. There they were, a puddle of little dwarfs on the stage. Took us an hour to untangle the little darlings, but they'll be back next year when they'll attempt to scale a piano stool.
Have you ever seen anything so silly in your life?
Perhaps it's a phase he's going through, a fad, a passing fancy.
My goodness, what are you two going on about?
Oh, hello, Fairy Godmother. Haven't you seen yet?
Seen what?
Just the funniest thing you'll ever see in your life, that's all.
What is?
Look for yourself.
Hello, short people everywhere. Fairy Godmother, I have decided to take a step up in life. You know, you're as tall as you feel.
What are you doing up on those shoes?
Oh, you, noticed me, huh?
Notice? How could I help but notice?
Well, I couldn't find stilts that were high enough, so I went to the old lady in the shoe, and she found me this swell pair, a perfect fit.
That's silly, Roscoe.
Hey, Watch out how you talk to a tall person.
Roscoe, parading around like a peacock on stilts doesn't automatically qualify you as tall.
Well, it takes practice, don't it?
But, Roscoe, I don't understand it. It's not as if we don't notice you.
Well, that's just it, Fairy Godmother. You're all so big and I'm so small, you hardly notice me at all. Well, only the other day, I almost got scooped up with Bellamy's laundry while I was taking a nap in his pajama pocket.
But, Roscoe, nobody thinks any less of you because you're short.
Although, of course, there is less of you to think about.
Bellamy, you know he's only kidding. We all love you, Roscoe. Why, I never even think of you as short.
Nor do I.
Then how do you think of me?
Diminutive. That's what you are.
Petite.
Compact.
What do all those words mean?
Short.
Yeah, I thought so. That's all I am. Short.
What do you mean that's all you are? You're quite a lot, Roscoe.
Don't try and kid me. I've been small long enough to know the score. Short guys is realists.
I don't see any particular advantage to being tall.
No. Remember yesterday when I asked you to reach up and get me that apple off of that tree?
Why, certainly, and I was glad to do it.
Yeah, but that's just it. It was easy for you. But it would have taken me 3 days to climb up that tree.
Well, you don't have as far to fall down when you trip.
Yeah, but it hurts just as much. And just think about it. Nobody, but nobody, looks up to me.
Roscoe, that's just not true. It doesn't matter how tall you are. What's really important is how big your heart is.
Well, anybody can tell that a little body like mine must have a shrimp's heart.
Oh, no, not necessarily. Think of some of the great examples in history of little people who conquered great obstacles, like David. Think about little David with his great big heart, full of courage, and that big cowardly Goliath with his tiny little mean heart set on crushing the boy.
Yeah, think of that.
Or think of that scrawny little Roman Androcles and how he walked up to that big, mean, snarling bully of a lion.
I beg your pardon.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bellamy. I was just giving Roscoe an example.
No, I think a better example might be the story of the little Dutch boy in the dike. If his thumb had been any bigger, he wouldn't have been able to plug up the dike, and then an entire country would have been immersed up to its windmills in most unseasonable weather.
That's right. There are many advantages to being whatever and whoever you are.
Yeah, but all those guys, well, they were big shots, star of their own stories and everything. What am I? Just a nobody mouse whose only claim to fame was that he once pulled a pumpkin to a ball.
Oh, that's nonsense. You're a very valuable member of this household.
That's a laugh. Ha, ha, ha. I'm not good for nothing around here. I just eat and sleep and try to avoid being stepped on. Well, that's why I got these shoes. I thought it might make people notice me a little bit more. Sometimes I feel like the invisible mouse.
Oh, Roscoe, for such a little fellow, you could be the most obstinate, stubborn creature.
Oh, yeah? Well, I don't care, because I like being this tall. Now you can't ignore me.
But I already told you, Roscoe.
We don't ignore you.
And anyway, whoops.
What is it, Fairy Godmother?
Oh, it's that silver pendant that I wear. I just broke the chain and lost it somewhere.
I saw it. It rolled into that crack.
Where?
Right there.
Where? Oh, there it is. Uh-oh. The crack is too small. I can't get my hand into it.
Oh, if I may be permitted, Fairy Godmother, could I offer my own humble paw in service?
Oh, thank you, Bellamy, but your paw is much bigger than my hand.
Well, my hooves aren't very good for retrieving things from tiny holes.
That's all right, Benita. It wasn't all that important. Just a little something that Merlin the magician gave me when I graduated from the Magic Academy. Had more sentimental value than anything.
Oh.
Hey, wait a minute, everybody. You're forgetting one thing. I'm small. Me. Why, I can get into that hole and get your pendant back, Fairy Godmother.
Oh, Roscoe, you really suppose you could? The pendant means so much to me. I'd love to get it back.
Oh, sure. It's a cinch for us small people. Just let me get down off of these shoes first, though. Then I'll show you what us small people can do, Fairy Godmother. Okay, everybody. stand back.
Roscoe, why do we have to stand back? That hole's too small for anybody to fall into.
Oh, yeah. Well, stand closer and keep me company.
Now, you be careful.
Yes, come back if it's too dangerous.
Good luck, old man.
Okay, here I go. Boy, sure is dark down here. Oops, what's this?
What is it?
You do that. I slipped on it.
Well, be careful.
Okay, here it comes. Here I am.
Oh, thank you, Roscoe, you darling. This pendant means so much to me.
Well, I'm just glad I could, help out.
You deserve a lot of credit.
Oh, you certainly do. None of us could have gotten down in there.
I certainly couldn't. That hole is far too small for me.
Or me.
Or me.
Yeah, that's right. I helped out in a way that nobody else could.
That makes you special and very important to us all. And this whole situation reminds me of a story about another person who was, diminutive.
You mean small, like me? Go ahead, you can say it. I'm proud of being small.
Yes, she was small, and her name was Thumbelina. Once upon a time,
there was a little girl who lived in a pretty cottage. But she was a lot smaller than most little girls. She was only the size of a thumb, and her name was Thumbelina. She was a very good sailor, and she liked to sail in the bird bath with a leaf as her boat and a twig as her paddle. One night, she was asleep in her bed, which was only a walnut shell, but certainly big enough for her, when a toad saw her through the window.
Rabbit? Oh, what a lovely girl. My, wouldn't she make a fine bride for my son?
And the toad picked Thumbelina up in her walnut shell and carried her away.
Wow, what a beautiful girl.
I knew you'd like her, Ribbit. And I want you two to be married.
Huh? Where am I? Oh!
Hello, dear. I'd like to introduce you, Ribbit, to my son, your husband-to-be.
Husband?
Thumbelina was so distressed. How could she marry a toad? To keep her safe, the toad placed Thumbelina on a lily pad in the middle of the stream. The fish who lived in the pond felt sorry for the sad, tiny girl and helped her to escape. She sailed down the stream, free again. She enjoyed her voyage as the butterflies escorted her. Thumbelina made her new home in a beautiful green field and drank honey from the flowers that surrounded her. Then the cold winds of winter started blowing, and Thumbelina couldn't live outside in the fields anymore. She had to find a warm place to live. She fell into the snow, so tired. But Mrs. Mouse found her and brought her to her warm, cozy home, safe from the winter cold. Mrs. Mouse asked Thumbelina to stay for the winter and keep her company. They became good friends, and Thumbelina didn't want to leave. One day, their neighbor, Mr. Mole, came to visit.
Huh?
Mr. Mole thought Thumbelina was the prettiest girl he'd ever seen.
It's getting clearer now. Whoa! Yay! I found my wife at last.
Oh, Thumbelina, you're so lucky. He's the richest man around.
Thumbelina didn't feel so lucky as Mr. Mole rushed to show her where he lived. He pulled her through the dark tunnel that led to his very dark house.
Hey, what's going on here? Where'd that come from?
They saw a bird lying in the shadows.
Oh, it's a swallow, and it's hurt.
Well, serves him right. That's what he gets for flying around like a crazy fool. Come on, let's go.
But Thumbelina couldn't forget the poor wounded swallow. She crept back into the tunnel and covered him with straw that she had woven for a blanket.
Oh, my poor little swallow. Oh, he's alive! He's alive!
For the rest of the winter, Thumbelina secretly took care of the swallow, feeding him and healing his wounds.
Hurry and get well.
Then one day, he was well enough to fly. With tears in her eyes, Thumbelina said farewell to her friend. Then spring came. Thumbelina was so unhappy, but she didn't know what to do.
Oh, what a lovely bride you'll make. It looks like I'll never see sunlight again. The flowers are so lovely, and the sun is so warm.
Why are you crying, Thumbelina?
Thumbelina told him about Mr. Mole and how she would always have to live deep in the ground.
Where's my bride?
It's Mr. Mole.
Quick, hop up on my back.
If I run away, I'll hurt Mrs. Mouse's feelings.
But Thumbelina, you've worked hard all winter, and you have more than repaid Mrs. Mouse for her kindness. Quick, let's go now. No time to lose.
Okay.
Come back! Come back!
And she flew away on the back of the swallow. He carried her far away to a special land of flowers where there lived many people just the size of Thumbelina. The king of the flowers found her so beautiful that he asked her to marry him, and they lived happily ever after.
Say, that Thumbelina was all right. You know, we little guys got guts. Why, she didn't let being small stand in her way.
I think she was very brave.
And I think it's just great that you guys all overcame your own handicap.
Handicap?
Yeah, being so tall. I gotta hand it to you. You've overcome it.
Why, Roscoe, that's very big of you.
Oh, Bellamy.
Say, what am I gonna do with these shoes anyway?
Well, don't throw them away, Roscoe. That'd be a shame. You can make a real nice flower pot out of them.
I think you should keep them, Roscoe. After all, you'll never know when you'll have to reach up to the cheese shelf of the refrigerator.
Hey, yeah, I forgot about that.
Well, I just hope you learn that you don't need them to make yourself seem bigger or more impressive.
No, ma'am. Certainly not. I found out that it don't matter how tall you are. Either you're a big person or you're not. If you are important, then you are taller than a tree. And you don't need to stand on one.
Really, wasn't that terrific? It was great fun being your space captain on our travels so far, but hold on, we're not done yet.
Hello, my dears. I was just glancing at the Fairy Tale Land television guide. Thought I might watch a little TV later on. Let's see what's coming up tonight. We have Humpty Dumpty. Humpty Dumpty on the news. He's a good anchor man, but he never takes a stand on issues. Straddles the fence. After the news, there's Little Jack Horner on sports, and then Mary Mary, quite contrary gardening show. Though there might be a replacement for her this week because one of her snapdragons bit her. Oh, and then the 7 Dancing Princesses Variety Hour's on tonight. That should be fun. Their special guests are the Pied Piper of Hamelin and the Dixieland Hotshots. Oh, then there's the movie of the week. It's called I Was a Teenage Troll, starring Goosey Goosey Gander and Dick Whittington's cat. I saw him last week on the Jack and Jill show. Very good. Let's see. Then I guess I could round off the evening by watching the Fairyland Tonight show, starring Little Georgie Porgy. Oh, I love his show. Then tonight, Jack Sprat and his wife talk about their incredible new weight loss and diet book. And, the Big Bad Wolf sings his latest hit single, Huff and Puff Boogie. I like that. They play that down at the disco in the Enchanted Village. Oh, and then veteran child actor Wee Willie Winkie will talk about what it's like to be a child star at the age of 86. Fun, huh?
Hi-ho, Fairy Godmother. Oh, Fairy Godmother, I hate to be the one to put a crimp in an otherwise placid evening, but unless I'm very much mistaken, we are about to be interrupted.
Really? How can you tell?
Fairy Godmother, I am a lion, the king of beasts. My senses have been keened by the jungle. My judgment and deductive mind fill in the rest.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes. For example, I would say that our visitor is a man, about 5'6", right-handed, and wearing a long, slender mustache.
Come in.
Good evening, one and all.
Bellamy, that's the most remarkable thing I've ever seen.
Oh, why, it was really nothing. Just using my senses and my mind, plus one more small advantage.
What's that?
I happen to have seen Mr. Hrartless coming up the front walk.
Oh, Bellamy.
I'm here on a very serious matter. I have a favor to ask you.
I think this prompts my exit.
No, please. Oh, that word doesn't sit well with me. But please stay. It involves all of you. I've got to talk to you very confidentially.
Okay, God-fredy, now what is this important favor that you have to ask?
Well, you see, my mother, my dear white-haired old mother, is very proud of her little baby boy.
Who's he talking about?
Me, you pesky rodent. She's proud of me.
Well, she must not know you very well.
Well, for years, I've been writing her and telling her about my life here in Fairy Tale Land.
Boy, that must be some spicy reading.
And I didn't tell her the truth.
Why, certainly. Why start a precedent?
I told her I was a respected member of the community, chairman of the local chamber of commerce, and president of the Bird Watchers Society. In other words, I told her that I'd gone straight.
Oh, God-fredy, you didn't.
Yes, I did. And furthermore, I didn't tell her that I live in my gloomy, dark old dungeon. I told her that I live here.
Here?
Here?
Well, there goes the neighborhood.
Well, it's not so much that I told her I lived here. I told her that, that you were all my servants.
Oh, Godfrey, that's going too far.
Well, I had to tell her something. I wanted to make her think that I'd gone straight and done well in life.
So you made up a lot of fibs.
Well, I prefer to think of it as a slight exaggeration.
Slight exaggeration?
Oh, now, Fairy Godmother. What harm can it really do? I mean, it's only things that he wrote in his letters. It really doesn't affect us what people think.
Well, that's just the point. Until now, it didn't matter at all. But now, things are different.
Different? How different?
Well, I haven't seen my mother for 20 years. I just wrote her the letters, and nobody was any the wiser. But now, she's coming here to see me.
Mr. Hrartless, if I may ask, why is it that you haven't seen your mother in 20 years if she means so much to you?
Well, they don't have many visitor days, and they just let her out of jail yesterday.
I should have known.
Jail? Oh, my goodness.
Well, it wasn't fair. She didn't know those chickens belonged to the chief of police.
So your mother is coming here, and she thinks you live in my home. Well, what is it exactly that you'd like us to do?
Well, I thought that maybe you could go along with it.
You mean you want us to act as if we were your servants?
That's right.
No chance.
Oh, please, for my dear old white-haired mother.
But she's a jailboy.
Well, that's no way to talk about somebody's mother, Roscoe.
Well, if it's for his mother...
Nothing doing.
Oh, please, think of my dear old mother, shut away behind iron bars, spending her weary hours knitting a mop, and thinking about her fair-haired boy who made good. Home, sweet home, there's no place like home.
That is a pretty rotten voice.
Well, I come from a rotten home.
Roscoe, how can you refuse a boy who just wants his mother to think better of him?
Well...
Oh, come on, Roscoe. Be a good sport.
Please, Roscoe, for me.
Well, okay. But just for one day, while his mother's here.
Oh, good. Well, you won't regret it. And now, I have a few costumes for you.
Costumes?
Mm-hmm. You can't expect an important man like myself to employ servants who dress like you, do you?
That's it. That's all of it.
Oh, come on, Roscoe. Give it a try.
Okay. What do you got?
Well, for you, a chauffeur's uniform and hat.
Chauffeur?
Uh-huh.
But you ain't got a car.
I know, but I've got the hat. And for you, Bellamy, a butler's dicky and gloves.
A butler? Oh, how charming. You rang, sir?
And for you, Benita, a maid's outfit.
Oh, how fitting. Just what I've always wanted to be. A milkmaid.
And last, but certainly not least, for you, dear Fairy Godmother, you're going to be my housekeeper. Here. Now, that looks right. Everybody's uniform fit?
Yes, but what are we supposed to do?
Well, you can't expect my mother to come into this place looking like this. I want it clean from top to bottom.
Hey, now you just wait just 1 minute.
Come on, let's get busy.
Yeah, I'm gonna get busy, all right.
Roscoe, remember his dear old white-haired mother?
Okay, but I ain't gonna like it.
Come on, let's go. Now, I know what they mean about the servant problem.
Hey, how long we gotta keep this up? I'm getting tired.
My hooves are aching.
Well, you know, the cottage needed a good cleaning anyway.
You know, just watching you work has exhausted me. I think I'll curl up in this chair.
That's it.
Now, Roscoe, remember you promised to help.
Oh, I'd like to help. I'd like to help him out of that chair.
You know, Fairy Godmother, as peculiar as this sounds, all of this has suddenly made me remember a story.
I think I know the one you mean, Bellamy. Cinderella.
That's the one.
Well, perhaps it'll make the time go by faster for us if I tell that story to you now.
Oh, yes, do.
Why not?
Roscoe.
I mean, sure. I'd love to hear a story.
Oh, good. Well, once upon a time...
Once upon a time, there lived a most beautiful and kind young girl. But fate had not been kind to her, and she led a most unhappy life. For you see, her mother had died when she was still a baby, and her new stepmother was most cruel and unkind, forcing the young girl to do all of the housework without ever offering to help. The wicked stepmother had 2 daughters of her own, and unfortunately, they seemed to have inherited all of their mother's laziness and meanness.
Cinderella.
She would go into the kitchen and sit by the fireplace. The warm glow of the fire seemed to relax her and renew her strength after such a long, hot day. One day, a courier from the castle delivered an invitation to a grand ball to be hosted by the handsome young prince of the land. It was to be a gala and festive affair, and to it was invited every young girl in the kingdom. But to poor Cinderella, the ball only meant more work on top of her already tiring daily chores. Why, her sisters couldn't possibly get ready without her help. Cinderella wanted to go to the ball, but what would she wear? She didn't have a single gown that wasn't torn or singed by the cinders, and her selfish sisters would never let her borrow one of theirs. Oh, look at that mess. How could her sisters be so cruel and inconsiderate? Just once, Cinderella wanted to dress up and go to a party, to dance and have a good time like all the other girls her age. How could her sisters be so cruel and inconsiderate? But suddenly, from out of nowhere, Cinderella's fairy godmother appeared.
Why are you crying, Cinderella?
I'd like to.
You'd like to go to the ball, too, isn't that it?
Uh-huh.
Well, then, dry your tears. I think I may be able to do something about that, dear.
The fairy godmother led Cinderella outside and selected a large, ripe pumpkin from the garden. And when she touched it with her magic wand,
Why, it's a carriage.
Next, the fairy godmother opened the mousetrap, and one by one...
There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, there's 5, and here's 6. And this plump little fellow would make a perfect coachman for you, my dear. There you go.
Oh?
Now it's your turn, Cinderella. Are you ready?
Uh-huh.
For Cinderella, a gown of silk and velvet.
Oh, 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 oh.
But, Cinderella, just one word of warning. You must return no later than 12 midnight. When the clock strikes 12, your coach, horses, and gown will all return to their original form. Don't forget now.
I won't. I'll be sure to be back by then.
Have a nice time, dear.
And so it was that Cinderella set off for the ball, escorted handsomely by her mouse coachman and pumpkin carriage, and wearing a beautiful silken gown and sparkling glass slippers. The loveliest girls in the kingdom were at the ball, and they were all dressed in their finest gowns, and each one in turn had a chance to dance and talk with the handsome prince. But still his heart was heavy, because he was unable to find the right girl to make his bride. But then... Cinderella had arrived at the ball.
Ah.
Huh?
As Cinderella made her entrance, all eyes were turned in her direction. Never had the prince seen anyone so lovely. Who was she? Where had she come from? No one seemed to know.
Please.
Yes.
They danced and they danced, losing all sense of time and place. It was as if they were alone, forgetting about all the others at the ball. It seemed they would dance forever. It was 12 midnight. Cinderella had lost all track of time.
What is it? Wait! Come back! Wait! Cinderella had to get out of the castle before her gown turned once more to rags.
Hurry, hurry, please. It's about to strike 12.
Huh?
It was just as her fairy godmother had warned. As soon as the great clock in the castle tower struck for a 12th time, the pumpkin, mice, and gown all were changed back to their original forms. Only the precious glass slippers remained. It was all the prince had to remind him of her.
Hear ye, hear ye! Our king hereby proclaims that his son, the prince, shall marry the first maiden, whose foot shall fit the glass slipper found at the ball.
Eventually, the slipper was brought to Cinderella's house.
Look out!
Finally, it was Cinderella's turn.
Ah!
Oh.
There was no doubt about it. Cinderella was the girl from the ball. Cinderella was then taken directly to the castle.
You found her.
The handsome prince had at last found his true love. And their wedding was proclaimed throughout the land. Cinderella became a kind and generous princess, and they lived happily ever after.
What a wonderful story.
Simply beautiful.
Hey, you're supposed to be working, not socializing. This isn't the Ritz, you know.
Oh, I'll get it.
Nonsense. What do you think I have a butler for? Bellamy, get the door.
As you wish, sir.
I wonder if it's Hrartless's mother.
No, it's a telegram for you, Mr. Hrartless.
Telegram? Here, let me have that. Why, it's from Mom. I've been getting your letters for 20 years now. Stop. And all that mush about your going straight makes me sick. Stop. No son of mine could ever turn out to be such a goody-goody two-shoes. Stop. You're a disgrace to the family. Stop. I'm leaving for Siberia at once rather than face the disgrace. Mom.
Oh, Godfrey, I'm sorry.
Well, maybe I should have sent her that cake with a file in it when she asked me to. Say now, don't get any of those uniforms dirty. I had to pay a cleaning deposit. I'll take it out of your salaries.
But, Mr. Hrartless. You're not paying us.
In that case, we're even.
That Godfrey Hrartless, I don't think he'll ever change.
Well, my dears, there's hope for everyone, but with some, it takes a little longer. You know, I think there's a great lesson to be learned from the story of Cinderella.
Yes, don't count your pumpkins before they're hatched.
Well, maybe, but I think the important lesson is that we're all given work to do here on Earth. And if we do it to the best of our ability, we'll each of us get our reward.
I think there's another lesson, too.
What's that, Benita?
Well, Cinderella went to the ball in a beautiful gown and glass slippers, riding in a coach. But at midnight, all of that vanished. She was back just the way she was, plain old Cinderella. But when the prince came to her house, that's just who he recognized. And that's the girl he fell in love with.
Very good, Benita.
If you have a problem facing you, and it's hard to know just what to do, and the more you fret and stew, the more it bothers you. Put your mind to it, and do it. Put your mind to it, and do it. Put your mind to it, and soon you'll find you've left it far behind. If you always feel that you're the one fixing up what others leave undone, and you'd rather be out playing games and having fun. Put your mind to it, and do it. Put your mind to it, and do it. Put your mind to it, and soon you'll find you left it far behind.
And now, before you go outside to play with your pals, I'd like to show you a preview of a totally different kind of show that Century Video has in store for you. And guess what? I'll be right there to introduce you to new friends, new places, and more awesome adventures.
We're the little kids, Dynamite All-Star Band.
My name's Marty Brill. And along with my very talented partners, Barry Meadow and Jay Stewart, we've been writing situation comedies for television for many, many years. I hope you've seen shows like What's Happening and Carter Country and perhaps One in a Million. And if you have, you've probably seen written by us guys. One of the things we've never done was a children's show. And a couple of months ago, two very brilliant songwriters, Lou Mallon and Rick Howard, came to us and said that the folks down at Skylark Productions Limited were looking for a children's show. Well, it was quite a challenge, and we just had to do it. And I'm here to tell you about the result. A show called The Little Kids Dynamite All-Star Band, a show that we're absolutely crazy about. You see, the Little Kids Dynamite All-Star Band is a group of kids who have their own band in which they're the all-stars. Now, take a look. This is Rodney,
Well, swing
and he's the leader. And he'd be the first one to tell you that.
Charles, just do what I say, okay?
And this is Betty.
I got an idea.
She's the real brains of the outfit, but she's smart enough not to let Rodney know
Why don't we
that.
play some songs that they will like?
And there's Charles. Charles has two major interests in life: playing the drums and eating peanut butter sandwiches with other assorted ingredients.
Dating out with ketchup and mayonnaise. I like any kind of song.
So we got three little kids here, playing their music, dreaming their dreams, and sharing a very special secret. The secret of the mirror.
I'm the Baron, and I stand for all that's right. I'm the Baron, and I'll clean with all my might. Neat and tidy, everything in its place. Crime and clutter, I meet them face to face. Come with me, my little friends, and I will show the way to the path where right is might and truth shines every day. I'm the Baron, I want the finest.
Now, this is the Baron de Bertram, a man who believes in cleanliness and morality and decency. And that's why he's constantly battling with his brother, the Marquis de Melvin. The most charming, esteemed, noblest nobleman of them all. And the world's leading authority on whatever. I jump for junk. I lust for dust. I bubble for rubble. I love rotten fruit, rotten eggs, rotten jokes, and rotten children. In other words, I'm perfect. A very filthy, wicked, nasty man. And the Baron and his brother, the Marquis, cannot agree upon anything. Now, I want to show you how they wound up inside this mirror in the first place.
I will not.
You will too.
I will not.
You will too. I will too.
Enough! I am tired of hearing all of this arguing from you. Do you want to know why I had you brought into this dungeon? So that I could lock you up and force you to stare into this mirror day and night. You will see what everyone else on Earth can see, that you are exactly alike. And you must learn to think and act exactly alike as well.
That may take a long time, Your Majesty.
You see, they stared so long and so hard within that mirror for 300 years that their images became trapped. And that's the way they remained until our little musicians gave them a rebirth.
Everybody is somebody with a story all their own. Everybody has a song to sing with a style that's theirs alone.
There was a time, for example, when Rodney fell in love.
Jennifer's really something, isn't she?
Yes, darn it. Couldn't you go and fall in love with a girl that looked like a linebacker for the Rams?
I am not in love.
Oh, no, you're not in love. You always buy birthday presents for people you hardly know. You always come here for rehearsal an hour late. You always write dumb songs. And you always get mad at the band for no reason, don't you?
Is that love?
It's either that or your brains are turning into oatmeal. I hope.
Marquis, have you ever been in love?
Me? Perish the thought. I hate love. Figures, doesn't it? I love hate, so I must hate love. Now, that's what the Marquis told Rodney, but the Baron felt a little different.
The nerve of that man. Making fun of love.
Love. Oh, then there was the day Betty found a little dog and was in no big hurry to give it back to its rightful owners.
I don't remember the exact street I found her. I was walking along. She just sort of started following me. Anyway, she has such little legs. If I walked too fast, she wouldn't be able to follow me. And that's why we're late. But anyway, here we are. But who does the dog belong to? Me. I found her. Finders, keepers, losers, weepers.
And at the same time, the Marquis found some precious poems that just happened to belong to his brother, the Baron. Let's see what happened.
Where are the rest of my poems?
Search me. Oh, okay. Let's not get testy. Here. Listen, there's no need to take this personally. I steal from everybody.
You leave if you know what's good for you.
Wow, I never saw you so angry.
Well, I was more than a piddle-a-pet. A sill-papet.
Little upset?
Yes.
You know, the Marquis had said all that stuff like finders, keepers, and the rest of it. Those were just excuses for doing the wrong thing.
What will you do now?
The right thing. I'm going to get the name off that license and return Sheldon back to her rightful owner. And I'll just have to wait till I get a dog that really belongs to me.
I'm a finger-licking chicken, out of sight. All my talk is music, dynamite. I got a rhyme for any reason. I'm a chicken for all season. Call me chicken. I'm a chicken delight. She's a heavy-duty chicken, not uptight. Singing and dancing chicken groove all night. She can shake it, chicken disco like a quake in San Francisco. Call her chicken. Call her chicken delight.
Little Kids Dynamite All-Star Band. It combines music and comedy and a message. See, in every show, the kids have a problem. Usually it gets worse because the Marquis shows up, but then the Baron shows up to listen, and perhaps teach a little, but mainly the kids find the solution for themselves. So, it's the Little Kids Dynamite All-Star Band. They're going to be the best band in the land.
We're the Little Kids Dynamite All-Star Band, here to play for you, helping you to understand. We got a magical mirror with a baron and a bad marquis who live inside and try to guide us, but always disagree. We're the Little Kids Dynamite All-Star Band.
I'm Rodney, I'm the leader, and this is my band.
I'm Betty, and I play the piano. I'm Charles, I play the drums.
I am the Baron de Bertram. I am good and clean and neat.
And I'm his brother, the Marquis de Melvin, and I'm dirty, rotten, and evil.
We'll be here playing, soon you'll be saying, we had a real good time. We're the Little Kids Dynamite All-Star Band. We're the Little Kids Dynamite All-Star Band.